Yeah, brothers, how y'all doing today?
What's good?
Elijah, how you doing, brother?
Man, I'm solid, man.
Solid, man?
Yeah.
All right, cool, brother. Well, shit, let's go ahead and break some bread, man.
Let's go, man.
How you?
Dang, I ain't jumped in. Ain't telling like what we represent as a pod, man. Like, do you know our
You
names?
gotta hit with the mission.
Go ahead.
No, you gotta hit with the mission.
Welcome to Honesty on the Table. You know, some newcomers, OG members who've been down, holding it down with us up until this point. Our mission is to cultivate that. Thank you to all the supporters out there.
And click subscribe too, by the way.
Click and subscribe.
Please do
Thank
that.
you. Our mission here is to cultivate a space where transparency, vulnerability, and humble curiosity will serve as our healthy roots, to build a foundation which will lead to individual and collective progress.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Say the word. Yes, sir.
That's a beautiful thing, brother. I want the mission statement like when we introduce the show, like right under so everybody can see and read along when we do it.
Okay.
Y'all fucking with that?
Okay. You want to transcribe?
Yeah, there we go. We're gonna get that transcribed. But how we doing today, man? How you doing, Jalen? What's up with you? Tell me, what's new?
Oh man, another week down. Valentine's Day was great. My baby came in town. Super Bowl was great. Shout out to all the folks out there who enjoyed the Super Bowl. Hopefully they didn't get too wasted or nothing like that. But it was good. I stayed out of the way. I had my love. It was great.
God is good, brother.
God is good.
My week,
How was your week?
it was all right. Valentine's Day wasn't necessary a Valentine.
You have Valentine's?
You having a Valentine's, brother?
I know you.
Not this year, bro.
Okay.
Do you really celebrate?
I really don't.
I really don't.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
Valentine's Day is every day, right?
When you
But you
I feel about that about most holidays.
Yeah, we feel about it, but guys, we feel that way. Women don't feel that way, okay?
Let's be
honest.
many
Stop.
women don't.
But I mean, for sure,
Get the
come
flowers.
through.
Come through.
For sure, come through.
Buy the flowers.
I love
But
Valentine's Day.
regardless.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Regardless.
Valentine's Day is every day, but boy.
But yeah, if I had a Valentine's though, for sure, Valentine's Day is the day to play.
Okay.
And it's just it's definitely great to make sure that the woman knows whoever she is that you appreciate it. So
Did Elijah lead with make sure the woman knows? Hey, it must have been a great Valentine's Day for Elijah, boy. He got that thing on.
Any woman that's in my life, she understands her position and she understands that I'm on my mission, and therefore there's the submission. And so
No, you messed it up. No. There is no mission.
there's no submission
There's no submission without
Without a mission.
without the
a
mission.
mission.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but how's your week though?
We gotta get that on t-shirts.
Yeah, no, it's been solid, man. It's been solid. Super excited. Want to give a special shout out to our sponsors at Sneaker Asylum, Sneaker Boutique in the Conyers, Georgia area. They sponsored us with this Kango attire along with the hometown hero. And I also see that it says "Earn, not given." So that's just definitely a mantra that I apply in my day-to-day life. And special shout out to hometown hero and Sneaker Asylum.
Yes, sir.
What's up, brothers? What's up, man? Well,
How you feeling?
yeah.
How was your week?
Yeah, yo.
So my Valentine's Day was ruined by the Super Bowl because I lost some money. Not gonna lie, it was very bad.
That's some nigga shit.
I don't care. And
Why you ruin your Valentine's?
bro,
It's two separate situations. You should not let one get into the
right. That's a
Super Bowl is entertainment. Valentine's Day is about your forever love. You know, you sharing that with your wife.
Playing money should have been already.
listen. First of all. The money was never spent. All right, I waited till the last minute, like most men do. I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right, but I came in the rebound. I'm good. I made up, so everything's all good. I'm happy. All right, let's get to the topic before I start living out some PTSD.
No doghouse mic, for sure.
Yeah, no doghouse mic. Yeah, there we go.
Can't have you on the couch, man.
Can't have me on the couch. Okay. All right. Well, who's hitting us with that tip today, man?
Yeah, so we're gonna start it off. Pick up where we left off. Last time we discussed operating agreements, limited liability companies. Now we're going to continue to build out, focusing on the employer identification number, also known as the tax ID. As the number suggests, I tell people it's sort of like how we have social security numbers. It is like your business's social security number. It is another way of distinguishing it as its own individual entity, making sure that there's that separation. It also allows you to open up a bank account, start the process of building business credit, and go from there. So that's the next initiative. You can go to irs.gov, get it done completely free. You come to me, I charge for that, but that's a blessing.
Hey, speaking of that, hey, listen, don't let these folks out here scam y'all, all right, into getting EIN for $70 like I've been scammed so many years, and I went on IRS.com, did it in 5 minutes, and it was free.
You got to pay for convenience.
I understand.
Yeah, because they didn't charge us for no $70.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, they did.
No.
Yeah, ink file.
It says state filing and then something else, registration.
When you go through ink file and you pay that $250, right?
The gold.
No, yeah, the gold, right? Yeah, it's nothing because the state filing is $100, right? And then they charge you technically $70 on ink file to get a free EIN number. Just to make sure. I just want to put some game out there.
$70 was convenient.
Yeah,
You got a whole lot.
It takes
so
5 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about your race. Let's talk business.
Let's talk.
So operation agreement,
Right.
EIN,
Right.
what else we got? Articles or organization. Bank resolutions. What I'm missing?
And then typically I have a private one-on-one consultation where I explain like the process, each and I tailor things to my specific client and make sure that I'm thinking about the long term as well. Because a lot of times people get the business up and going, but it's like, what do you do after this? Like what happens next? And so I think that that's very important in and of itself with the price. I think in terms of just value, it's all about just like articulating your value and then just making your mark, because that's where people go and they say, my price is my price. Like business is based off of ignorance and lack, So it's like, you don't have these shoes, I have them, I'm upselling. You don't know this knowledge, I'm charging you this. So it's not, to me, I don't view that, I don't view it as like a scam. I think I think it's just it's a way to monetize off whatever your leverage is, and that's your asset, the knowledge. Yeah,
for sure.
I agree with that. Well, fellas, we're going to today talk about that good old.
We gotta get into the health, man. I gotta make sure we all are abreast on making sure our health.
Oh, let me hear the health then.
Is a priority. You know what I'm saying?
Handle your business, but you gotta live to handle the business.
Handle the business, brother.
Let's get to the health.
Let me get it.
Creative expression.
Yeah.
Okay. The benefits of creative expression. First off, when you think about creative expression, you don't have to be Picasso, right? So if you are anyone who is regular person out here, you got the mounting stress. We talked about last episode about mounting stress, right? The incapability of maintaining that work-life balance. But you have to find an outlet. What are your ways of creative expression? You can first write. My kick your boy. I'm a writer. You know what I'm saying? I journal and I use that as an opportunity to express myself. And folks have other ways and means of doing that through visual arts, whether it be through photography, painting, producing, creating. Any form of creation helps improve mood. It helps improve well-being. It also helps improve self-awareness and overall value of self in your respective place. So regardless of whether you own a business and it has nothing to do with creative expression, regardless of whether you are doing something that is more of a mental, more of a tasking process in which you get through your day-to-day for your 40 hours plus per week, taking that time out to do creative self-expression is something that will actually help improve self. So be mindful of all the different hobbies that you can take up. Hell, I like picking up a Batman coloring book every now and then in color. That's a form of creative expression, right? It helps, release those endorphins. It improves my mood. It gives me something to look forward to outside of the day-to-day assets and liabilities, if you will, of my life. So please look out and search and find your own ways of creative expression.
Sir.
What would you say your creative expression is?
My creative expression? I would say modeling.
Nice. Okay.
Interior decorating.
Okay.
That's my shit. Styling too, for sure. Y'all see me in the Nike, but you see me in real life, like, swag is the shit. Everybody call me for which one, bro? What you think? You know what I mean? That's a fact.
Okay. What about you?
That's a top model right here, for sure. No, for sure. Like, been that way since high school. For me, my creative expression, honestly, I like to spend time with my family, specifically like my brothers when we make time to be together and we just freestyle. I act like I'm an artist.
Like rapping?
Yeah, like
spit something for
yeah, no, not right now.
Okay,
yeah.
come to the Lord.
Not right now. Yeah, but yeah. So I really enjoy just being with my family. I love my family and spending time with them, and also just personally, I like to watch Power. And when I'm watching Power or shows like that, BMF or whatever, I just like to dissect like the relationships, the power dynamics, and how this person put themselves in this position based on their decisions. So that's what I'm constantly doing. And I'm a big movie buff, so I love movies.
Okay, that's good. But who in particular in Power do you like watching the most?
In Power specifically, of course, Omari Hardwick. That's shout out to my brother. And then in Ghost, Tariq St. Patrick. Absolutely.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He get on my nerves, man.
Yeah.
Too many
life lessons.
Yeah. I mean, I would say for me, it's a little boring. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
So like, I like creating. Like, I like thinking of ways to make money. Like from the most minute level to like obviously an extreme level, right? So I just think about like, I write it down. I have a book that I keep all my business ideas in. I just think about, okay, so the way I do things, the way I think about my business model, my business structure is what's the least amount of money I can invest to make the most amount of profit within a short period of time. I know that's very like, crazy, but there's so many ideas that I have and I write down. So that's just my way to express, and it's my outlet, Go ahead.
No, you good.
No, I'm good, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was like, have y'all been surfing?
Like surfing?
Like surfing?
Like totally dude?
Yeah.
Nah.
Totally, dude.
Okay.
Like rocket power shit.
Yeah.
Bro, I ain't gonna cap. I always want to do everything in rocket power, bro. Like everything, bro. Like
that might have to be a thing for us too. So
to go surfing
with creative expression, because that's another mechanism that I use.
You surf?
I surf.
Really?
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
What's the highest wave you ever done?
I don't know the height.
Okay.
Yeah. But I.
Why was the nigga surf? I ain't.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what I'm saying. Kudos, man. That's what's up, bro.
I thought I was doing something with swimming, but it
Right. Out here.
Try that. Yeah. Okay, that's what's up, man. Well,
for sure.
Fellas, today we're gonna talk about that 4-letter word that starts with an F. What we talking about?
Like
Lost.
Lack thereof. We talking about love, fellas.
okay.
That was
Okay.
Like lack.
That was
Damn, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was your first experience with love? Like, I need to hear it from the man himself. Come on.
Like with our family, or just because what I'm saying. First experience of love usually with your parents.
I mean, I guess we're gonna go more intimate.
Yeah. It's like,
We'll go more
Talk
intimate.
about the woes.
That's how niggas deflect. Like what? Love.
Right. I love my parents.
Yeah.
Nah. We talking about your first love, brother.
Outside of your.
How was your first experience with love?
ooh.
And how do you feel like it changed you after that experience?
I'm talking to you, bro.
Oh, okay. I mean,
it's an open question.
You were cuffing in love first before I did. It was you, then.
Right, I think you were with before me.
For sure.
OG.
Yeah. So
They call it OG.
they call it OG.
Yeah. I think that this is like 2009.
Ooh, 2009, single digit 2000.
Yeah, I was 10. Yeah.
10th grade.
Yeah.
She called me in the beginning of the school year, bro. She knew what she was doing. She already done heard about me.
Yeah.
And then, she had left because we lost our accreditation. She came back. She called me at the rec center during the summer.
Call Rodenhausen? Which rec center?
You know what else you
Rex.
That's what I'm saying, Rodenhausen.
Oh, yeah. She called me there, bro. And after that, by the time we even got a week or 2 in school, bro, I was cuffed on the 28th.
You still remember that date, brother?
Wow, that's
crazy.
You remember the first.
That's what's up, bro.
I remember the 15th.
Yeah.
I remember the 21st October.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What you got?
Brothers, let's continue. Question not on me. I asked the question. All right?
But I mean,
I changed you, man. I know it changed you. It changed you.
that motherfucker ate me up and spit me out.
Oh,
I'm gonna be honest, it did. But it was an experience that I needed, okay? Because without that experience, like, I I wouldn't be the man who I was today, right? So without that first heartbreak and necessarily the father issues that we discussed, you know, last episode, like that formed me. You know what I'm saying? The do's and don'ts, how I should carry myself, what I don't want to be like. So most of those lessons was what I don't like. So now I need to search for what I do like. So once I processed both of those things, I became Marlo Boyz. So within the situation, right? It was good at first. You know, we was in the honeymoon phase the first year or so.
Honeymoon's always great.
You know what I'm saying? It was amazing. Couldn't tell me nothing. You know, when you really in love, that's when you know you in love and start smelling yourself when you just arguing with your mama for no reason. And your mama feeling like you loving her more than you love her, and your mama nitpicking like that's that puppy love shit. Y'all gonna break up. Y'all ain't gonna make it. My mama was a hater, bro. Like what?
I can see that.
My mama was a hater, bro. So like puppy love, lost my virginity, so we amped it up. So then like I want to say maybe like I think I experienced my first subtle heartbreak. She probably broke my heart at least 4 times, bro. Like cracked it or damaged it. But I was so in love, like it hurt me, but I loved you more.
Loved him.
So it really didn't matter, bro. So it was deep, bro. I ain't never been locked in and in tune into a woman ever since, bro. And at this point, I'm low-key scared to be in tune. But when I find that comfortability to be in tune, that's how I know I found my wife.
Okay. All right,
you know what I'm saying?
What we talking?
Yeah, the 15th. I remember.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Them days, huh?
yeah. And we was in high school together. So for me, I definitely had that phase of being. Wow. Yeah. So we were in. I haven't relived this in a long time. We were in social studies class, American government. I intentionally sat behind her in the class.
Yeah.
I remember asking her every day if she needed a pencil or if she needed paper. Even though I saw that she had pencil and paper on her desk, I would just try to find ways just to communicate with her. And then I remember she finally gave me her number and I lost it. And I was devastated because I was like, oh, I done missed my chance. She was like, yeah, call me on Saturday. Come to find out, that first time she had initially gave me the wrong number anyway. She told me,
oh, that's God.
Yeah. You see how God works? God didn't even want to put me in the situation because I had to put myself in the right position. So we back. So, you know, a long story short, you know, I started just asking her every day, okay, after I kept asking her about, you know, pen and paper, sitting behind her in the classroom, she eventually was like, all right, yeah, let me use your pen. And then I would walk with her to her cheerleading practice. So she was like the prettiest cheerleader. And she was the new girl from, you know, Miami, Florida.
Shout out.
You know, shout out to Fort Lauderdale and so forth. And I would walk her to class and walk her to cheerleading practice every day. And eventually I fell in love. And we didn't even have, you know, quote unquote sex or anything like that. We did stuff, you know, but it was just like the way that we were so invested in each other. It was genuine. It was meaningful. It was sincere. And it was real. And the way that things started to unravel was when I was making the transition to go into college. And I wanted to take things more serious because I wanted to, you know, we have this initial investment, and I was articulating to her that sometimes I felt like I was being used, right? I felt like I was paying for everything. And back then, high school, right? Junior, senior year, you ain't got no money, so you gotta, you know, you
ask mom and dad,
you know what I mean? You ask your mom and dad, you know, and then you still, you know, you hustling. I'm mowing lawns, da. But I didn't even mind paying for anything. But it's like making sure like the woman like shows that she appreciates the fact that you are doing that, or even understand that you don't really got no money, and like it's a lot. $50 is a lot to, you know what I mean, go to the movies and da. And it started to feel like there was just like a lack of appreciation. I remember once I graduated and from high school, we made the decision to go to Miami, Florida, where she was from. The only reason my mom told me I could have went anywhere. She was gonna pay for me to go on any trip. The only reason why I made the decision to go to where she was from is because I knew she hadn't seen her dad for over a year and a half. And so I wanted to make sure she was in a position to do that. So we get down there, and it's just the way it was a lot that was happening where it was just like, dang, you don't even see how I sacrifice. I ain't even care about the trip for me. I just want to be, because personally, I don't care about this stuff. I don't care about trips. I don't care about that stuff. This stuff I do that because women, it's a thing for them. And so like, to me, it was just like the lack of appreciation. And I remember we broke up at a McDonald's, right? We had
a McDonald's, bro?
Yeah, we got all that money. We broke up. We had all that. All that money spent. You bought all the cheeks. Look, I spent all my money in Miami. Okay, I ain't had no money, so we at Forest Park, right? Down the little road, and we was at on the corner. We was at the McDonald's, and you know, and we had the conversation. I said, hey, I would like to see more of like your investment in this. And this goes back to just like my thought process, you know, going forward. Like, I'm not really seeing your investment in what we're doing. I'm paying for this. I'm doing this, and I'm articulating it. I'm very articulate.
Was it more financial when it comes to the investment? Or it was everything.
Just everything. It was you in a relationship. You start to kind of recognize like, dang, I'm kind of doing a lot.
Yeah.
And so when that situation happened, it wasn't that I didn't love her, but it was that I respected myself more because I'm very patient. So I was patient for these 2 years, and so now you don't see the value. Okay, cool. So then I went off to college. And I just let that be what it's going to be. I still respected her because even when I got to college, I was still telling women, I'm not ready. I'm in love with somebody else. And then eventually that phased, and yeah, that was my first experience.
How it changed you?
It made me self-aware. It made me make sure that I put myself in a position first, right? Because I was doing things to where I was trying to accommodate and appease this person instead of like taking a step back and seeing how this is a mutually shared benefit of reciprocity. And so that's why when I am in relationships, I make sure that I articulate to the person what my standards are and then what my expectations are. And then say at the bottom line, this is what I at least want to see happen. And if you can do that, then I can meet you here. But if that person can't do that, then it ain't gonna work. And I'm very direct and transparent. And that's the thing. Going forward, there's nobody that can say I lied to him. And so that's something that I like to pride myself on. So that it made me as a man be accountable, get on my grind, and at the same time make sure that I have that direct, transparent communication with that woman. I don't like confusion. This is your role in my life. This is, so that's what it turned me into.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, Jay. Talk to me.
Yeah.
Hey. So, senior year, high school. How did it start? I already was like sort of had a crush on Shorty, but I wasn't thinking about relationship because again, this is my first time. We talk about this pre-production, like me growing up dark skinned and shit like that. I was the blackest nigga on the planet to everybody in the world. So I got more insults and friend zones from women than I did appreciation or respect. Mm-hmm. But trust me, I don't hold it against y'all black women. Y'all know what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like that's based on a system that again is bigger than us. You know, so I never held it against them. But it did take a toll on me in terms of how I view myself, how I value myself, how I look myself in the mirror and thought of my own appeal and attraction and position when it comes to relationships. Like, so it was homecoming. Homecoming was coming up, and we was leaving GMAX class, and I was one of the ones who was nominated for homecoming, and I needed a date, and I was like, oh shit. I don't know anybody. Well, I know folks, but I'm scared. Who am I going to ask? And for some reason, I can't remember me and her had a class together. And we was cool. We was always small talk, pity pat shit. Nothing too crazy. But I never forget, it was one time I was walking her to a locker. It was like towards the end of the day. And she told me that she liked me. And that was like, oh. She had me at that point. Mm-hmm. So to anyone, they'll think like, damn, this nigga naive as fuck. He was soft as hell. It's like, nah, like that's how much I really didn't hear from girls that I was attracted to that they liked me. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's another thing we need to talk about is like as men, like sometimes when you're trying to pursue the woman you like and you're attracted to and you're invested in, the reciprocity is not received. You're doing all this extra shit. You're going all above and beyond, but it's like you never know because they don't make it explicit for you. So as much as women say, oh, I want this to be explicit, I want marriage to be an explicit way of telling the world that this is this, we need that too. So when you know, a girl had told me that she liked me, I was like, oh man, like, okay, well, you want to be my homecoming date?
Perfect.
Matter of fact, want to be my prom date too? I gave the double proposal. I gave the double proposal.
Hey, you knew this was gonna be a long term.
We didn't make it to prom though. I went to prom with myself. Yeah. Me and Jaro Johnson. Kevron, what's up, bro? Me and him, we just rolled together, man.
Like
Kevron. Yeah, man. But yeah, because she didn't make it to prom. That's how short the relationship was. It was only about 6 months. It was toxic. Because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to communicate. Now that I have someone that I like and we're going through the honeymoon phase and we're texting and talking, when it started to hit the disagreements about certain things, the way things should be orchestrated or the way in which one person handles their emotions and you're trying to console and be there and provide solutions for them and they're not responsive to that. And in fact, it actually triggers them more and you don't know that because you haven't really got in depth because you're in high school. You're not trying to peel back the layers of folks' life when you're with them intimately. Right, you don't have that kind of foresight of how to engage with them and see like, okay, well, all right, this is a trigger for them because of this. So I have to come in through the back door this way. I would have to provide solutions this way. That wasn't explained. So there was a lot of periods in that. It was only 6 months, that relationship. It was, well, it bled over into the summer, but that's a whole other thing. But within that time, whenever we had a disagreement, we wouldn't talk for weeks. We wouldn't talk at all. Like she would either drop me like a bad habit or I wouldn't talk to her because I was afraid personally, I can only speak for myself in this situation. I was afraid if I said something, it was going to be something that was going to trigger. Or I felt like if I said something, it was going to make her feel like I was trying to save her. But it's like, nah, I'm just trying to be supportive of you. I'm trying to be present. How can I be present in your life in a way in which I'm not stepping on your toes or making it seem as if I'm doing the most? Like you have to communicate, but we wasn't communicating. So it was a lot of times in which I was by myself trying to figure out how to get over these humps in our relationship. So communication became something that I held dear going forward. Right. Not just niggas always say all the time, you gotta communicate, you gotta communicate. Yeah, right. Folks don't really communicate as much as they say they do. Agreed. Right? So folks don't actively listen as much as they say they do, right? Mike talked about that a while ago. Like the value of actively listening and not just trying to respond, but trying to listen and ingest and reflect, re-engage, ask more probing questions to provide understanding. You're supposed to be active listening to gain understanding, not to one up the other person to try to gain control and be dictatorial and all that other shit. Like, no. So for me, that was one of the things I learned in that first experience with love is that you have to be transparent. You have to be delicate in your transparency because everyone is different. Mm-hmm. But you have to be transparent. You have to say something. But yeah, she had me wrapped around her finger, man, because, you know, back in those days whenever somebody would text you, you get those text notifications. There was like a song you would have synonymous with that.
Yeah, I remember that.
There's like this one Wale song that I'm not going to say. There's one Wale song that was synonymous to her. So whenever we were going through our bullshit and I wouldn't hear from her for days, but I would hear that little text chirp.
What's the song?
Ambitious Girl. It was on
okay.
Was it the mixtape About Nothing?
Nah, Ambitious Girl was on it was on Ambition, the album.
No. Ambitious Girl. There was a
it was on Mixtape About Nothing. Mixtape About Nothing.
Yeah. So whenever that came on, my heart would drop. I'm like, oh my God, that's her. Like, she's texting me like, man, I gotta see what she's saying. Like, I'm reading it, and that's when I knew I was in love. Yeah. Every time she reached out to me, my heart would drop, and I would just be so excited and just wanting to be there with her. But it changed me in the sense of I had to dial it back. I could not be as pressed, but I needed to be transparent and forthright about my intentions and where I see ourselves going. And that became more of the things that I held dear to me going forward after that.
Absolutely, bro. Yes, sir. What's up, dog? Yeah. It's my song too, bro. Ambitious Girl, man. It's one of my favorite mixtapes of all time.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Wale, man. Mixtape.
Yeah, man. So I mean, for me, 12th grade, prom time. All right, looking for a date.
We got prom.
Couldn't Couldn't really find. Well, actually, not gonna take that back. I could find one, but I ain't really want to take this girl that asked me. What you talking about?
No, it's my prom. We got
That's it.
yeah.
That
That was an L. That was an L.
That was the second heartbreak.
Okay, that was the L for me too. So,
Yeah.
so listen, so prom time, right? Shorty slide in my. I guess she was the first person I ever slid in my DM. Facebook though, and it was so crazy. Like I didn't even know. Like, I thought she was fake, bro, because she was so fine. I was like, bro, this girl ain't no way this girl talking to me, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, just hit me with a simple question, like, hey, like, who are you? Like, do I know you? And I was like, no, like, fuck out of here. That's literally what I said. I said, nah, you got the wrong one. Like, that's it, right? And I guess like she at the time was like never been rejected, so like that just kind of like got her like, the fuck, did this little ass nigga just reject me, bro? What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Because she actually went to my school, but she graduated a year before me. So like I knew of her, obviously because she was fine, but like I didn't really know her like that. So she slid in the DMs, got to talking, got the link up. You know, this is when my dad had, you know, he blessed me with a car, you know what I'm saying? I ain't talking about birthday. I'm talking about, you know, at the time it was like the Honda Civic, you know, which was like, you know, like brand new, you know what I'm saying? So I'm picking her up, I'm taking her out, you know, doing the things, and we end up falling in love. So I would, it was a rough experience, brother. I ain't gonna cap. Like it was weird because like, so it was my first time dating she was an actress and a singer, and I don't know if you guys ever had experience dating anybody in that creative field. But sometimes you just don't know if they're like acting or they being real. Like it's like, bro, like it's like what you say? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like the move, like it's like it's weird, bro. Like it was a cool experience, but it was a weird experience at the same time. And I think I was so smitten over just like this fine ass girl, you know what I'm saying, fuck with me. I'm just like, okay, cool. So, you know, we went through the honeymoon phase, it was cool. But then like what really threw us off was like her parents looked at me as a distraction. I'm talking about those parents that are like, hey, you know, my daughter's gonna be, you know, the best in the world, like, you know, they're their managers, you know what I'm saying? So her parents would like just start throwing lies in her ear about me. Like it was weird, bro. Like I never got it. I was 18 years old, bro, getting into an argument with a 40, 50-year-old talk, you know, about nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, you're accusing me of stuff, and it's like, for what? Like, what are you talking about? So, I mean, the relationship ended pretty shitty. Ain't gonna cap. It was bad, bro. So you know, I'm a military man, 10 years vet.
Shout out to the
shout out to the Air Force on me. But so like I was going to basic training, right? And during this time, you know, it was kind of like at that you know like when it's about to end for real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was crazy. Like I'll never forget this shit. Stick with me to this day, bro. The girl asked me for this guy I knew. Like, you know, we partied with him a couple times, went to crush together. You know what I'm saying? She asked me for his number, and I knew they used to actually like talk back in the day, but it wasn't that crazy. She's like, oh, you know, my homegirl wants his number, right, whatever, right? I go to basic, you know, we break it off, right? You know, I'm just like, bro, I'm finna go do my own thing, whatever, right? But I'm coming back, but we kind of just broke it off. I come back, bro. While they was in a whole relationship, the dude she asked me the number for, they ended up getting a relationship, bro, for 8 months, bro. That's how long I was going to Texas for. 8 months. That when I tell you, bro, that shit hurt me, bro.
Yo.
And then she tried to come back.
And then she tried to come back. Try to come back like smooth with it, like oh my god, it was just this and that, bro. So one thing I learned off of that, how it changed me, bro, is that number one, no other person can make you happy. I think I was looking at a lot of my happiness in her, and I wasn't happy with myself, right? Because, you know, there's a lot of things, you know, like, damn, am I going to college? Like, I'm going to the military. How am I going to work this out? You know what I'm saying? Like, well, not am I going to college? I was in my first year at the time, but I lost my scholarship. You know what I'm saying? So, like, at this time, I'm like, damn, I got to pay for school, but I got to go to the military now. Like, what's going on? And I was so focused and so keen on her and trying to please her, make her happy, you know, because I felt like she was my happiness, is that I lost myself within it. You know, but I'll tell you one thing, being in basic training with nothing but men for 8 weeks, you'll learn a lot about yourself, you know what I'm saying? Because you have nothing but yourself, no communication with parents, no communication with nothing. Yeah. And it really just changed me in the sense of like, you know what, Michael, you make yourself happy. Like, you got to be happy first before you can make somebody else happy. Right. So that was the biggest thing for me. So I would say the biggest lesson I learned was that. So like when y'all love, not even just your first love, but just love in general. Like, what are the biggest lessons y'all learned from just being in love with somebody?
Man, you hit on the
You hit it. We all pretty much touched on it towards the end.
You gotta put yourself first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cause what you say, bro?
Yeah.
About the mission.
If you ain't on your mission, there's no submission.
Right.
And to be on your mission, you gotta know
be
you.
You gotta be focused.
Yeah.
And especially y'all know it.
Yeah, man. Gotta be focused, man.
Exactly.
Discipline, focus, bro.
But that's again, that's something else that the narrative when it comes to self-love, self-respect, that has more of a connotation with women having to do that. Right? But when it comes to us, self-love, self-respect, we have to hold ourselves there. That's not in the context of degrading or demeaning or subjugating anyone else, but really just out of the sheer fact of you trying to find out who you are and what you like and don't like and what are some things that you need to improve upon, doing that self-correction, that self-mastery. All of that is something that we need to continue to champion, and we need to make sure that that is a routine for a lot of the young boys out here who hormones are shooting through the roof. They're looking at girls that they like. They want to get mixy, whether it's for relationships or for sex. Regardless, they really have to put themselves first and say, hey, young boy, like, did you get tested or you didn't use condoms? Like, just as a simple thing. That's how simple giving yourself that time to self-reflect for your self-respect is needed and necessary, but it's not something that is normalized in this place, right? We have to try to create that.
And so does that suggest that we don't necessarily love ourselves? Like, because are we finding value in the loving of other people and expecting for this person to in turn love us that way, so that we, like, is that something that you all feel like you've experienced at some point, trying to love another person how you would like to be loved? And in essence, like, you, because you're trying to figure it out, but you don't necessarily feel love. Like, you don't really love like who you are. And I think that's an interesting perspective on that.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to the OG auntie Anyala Van Zant. She said, you learn more about yourself in relationships than about the relationship itself. So when relationships begin to deteriorate, you start to see folks casting accountability to the other person, casting blame to the other person, or casting too much blame and accountability to themselves, to where they're not holding the other person accountable. Like, we're not finding ways to parse out and divide our shared responsibility in this relationship, because it's shared, but in that shared responsibility is housed in how you learn about yourself to improve that relationship. But we're not taking the time to do that because it's not prioritized in that way. It's always like, we're in a relationship, it's us two. We both. No, but what did you contribute in the space? And does that require you to make adjustments for you? And does that require you to have to speak out about how you want your level of self-respect in this relationship to be exercised and reflected based on the other person? But that in and of itself requires self-awareness. That in and of itself requires you to be in isolation. That's it. That in and of itself requires you to take the time out and ask yourself the hard questions, because this relationship isn't working out for some reason or another, whether because we don't love ourselves enough or because we're not valuing what we should be doing to begin with, which is to know that you're coming into this yourself first, and you have to maintain that first and then the relationship.
Correct. So I got a question though. Have any one of y'all ever been love sick? You know what I mean by that?
Not pussy whip, but love
sick.
Like, in what sense though? Like,
so like my experience of what I think love sick is, right? I say my first heartbreak, right? Meaning like we basically broke up or whatever, right? No talking or whatever, and I couldn't eat.
Oh yeah,
like I'm sick, nigga. What's up? Love sick. Couldn't eat.
My first
drink,
love
nothing.
had me in a fetal position, naked in the bed, crying.
Oh yeah, for sure.
With Cisco Incomplete playing on repeat.
Cisco?
That, yeah, I wasn't eating. I didn't want to leave my room. I was ridiculously out of touch.
I'm such a holiday.
Suffocate? Suffocate by Jay
Holiday, right?
Yeah.
Jay Holiday.
I can't.
That was y'all.
All right.
I came in on top because I told you when I'm with the family, we do the. That was
Yep.
So let me ask y'all another question. Then. Have you ever been intimidated by your partner, like, or smitten over him?
No,
Never. Really? Okay, let's talk.
Intimidated.
Like when I say intimidated, it doesn't have to necessarily be like you were like scared of them. You know what I'm saying? But more like because of, let's say, okay, I can give you a perfect example. For me,
power dynamics sort of shift more.
I've been intimidated in a relationship before, right? Mm-hmm. But the intimidation wasn't necessarily like, I thought she's gonna beat my ass or not crazy like that, right? The intimidation was that she had a child, right? And I never been with a woman who had a child before. And I always told myself, you already know I used to say this all the time, bro, like I would never be with a chick who has a kid at a certain age, you know what I'm saying? I was still young and I don't know how to do that, but I decided to try to take the responsibility on, and it kind of intimidated me because, I'm trying to be better than what she's been with. You know what I'm saying? Like an example, like her baby daddy, right? I'm trying to be that man in this child's life. I'm 23, 22, 22, 23, 24 years old, bro, like thinking about this. And, at times, a lot of my decisions were based upon, I would say like a intimidation factor because like, I was like, okay, if I don't do this or if I don't show up this way, then I will potentially lose out on the relationship. So I kind of had like a fire to my butt, if that makes sense. So, I mean, that's just my example. When I experienced that, that was like the only time I've ever felt like intimidated because it's like, I couldn't fuck up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I have to one, be in a relationship with you, and I also have to build a relationship with, that person's child. Go ahead.
Tell you something, brother.
Go ahead.
When it comes to them kids, brother, the key is the churn. All right? You got to build a relationship with the churn because...
Agreed.
You build a relationship with the churn, you in there.
I don't know. The relationship was definitely established with the children, but it's the fact. It's not... To me, it wasn't just that. It's like... you have so much things you got to take on. I went from just being a single dude to now I'm like, okay, now I'm your boyfriend. Now I'm really like her daddy low key. Mm-hmm. Then I gotta, deal with the baby daddy as well because he's a part of the relationship too.
Right.
Mm-hmm. People don't realize that you date somebody with kids, you date everything about them. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of stuff piling on top of each other. Mm-hmm. I gotta meet her parents. I gotta meet the baby daddy parents. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? Shit. What about me? Like. So it just that relationship for me came with a little bit of intimidation because I was like, okay, I have to be on my shit.
That makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? But that's just my experience though. I mean, you guys are some strong brothers and you was never intimidated. I feel that, man. I know Elijah was intimidated.
I don't even think it's intimidation you're talking about. I think it's more so not being aware or versed in the situation you're stepping in when you're in a relationship with someone who has their own responsibilities, who are coming in with their life. Like that is something that can set you back a little bit. I don't think it's more intimidation than you feeling a sense of being unprepared and letting that be something that drives your anxiety and drives your sense of questioning of self because you want the relationship to work. When you say you want to be in a relationship with somebody, you want it to work. Mm-hmm. But if you have things that you don't have questions for because you don't have the wisdom, you don't have the foresight, you don't have the kind of knowledge to say, okay, what is it like being with someone who has a child? I don't have any frame of reference for that. I don't know if I should go to my parents about that. I don't know how they'll feel about it. They'll judge me. You're sort of kind of nestled in a situation where you're sort of kind of compromised by default.
That's what my dad saved me on that one actually. Yeah, he saved me on that. Like because my mom, like when they got married, she had 2 kids. Mm-hmm. So like I was just picking his brain like crazy. Like
got you. I just don't think that you just had the experience or the tools to really see it through the way you want it, and because of that, you were unsure of yourself when it came to certain decisions in a relationship as compared to if she didn't have a child at all.
I agree.
If that makes sense.
I agree.
So I don't really think it's intimidation. I just think it's just you put in a precarious situation, having somewhat of a challenge that you didn't feel like you had the tools to deal with or manage. Not necessarily deal. It sounds like it's a burden, but it's more of a management thing. But I've definitely been in some situations where I felt like I was a fish out of the water. I didn't have experience, and I was just rolling with it.
Yeah.
And they sort of did take some of the control because, again, I'm gaining experience. I'm sitting back, playing my part. I'm not sitting there jumping up saying yes ma'am, no ma'am type of stuff, but I have to know that if this person has a car and I don't have a car, this person has an apartment, I never had one, this person has a job that is salary based. I never had a job with salary. You pretty much taking notes. You got to sit back and play your position. You got to be humble. You got to humble yourself. And I think you were just in a humbling position. But I don't, aside from that, no, I don't think I was intimidated.
So
I think it's just growing pains, brother.
You know how everybody talks about like the one, right? Like, you know, this is the one for me, my soulmate, right? Do you guys ever feel like there's somebody that you like missed out on, or like that the one got away from you, or like that one person's like, damn, if it was in different circumstances, I'd probably be married to her right now.
I mean, because I think missing out on one, no, but I do think that there are women in our past. Because for me personally, I love to love and experience the woman I'm with, right? To whatever that is, that exchange. I'm in that. I appreciate that. It's a vibe, right? And in the same vein, I think sometimes we can unintentionally force it, where it's like, because we see something with this person, we're trying to make it work, right? Rather than it just sort of just connecting, you know, like the puzzle piece concept. And for me, I think in high school, for sure, like I didn't even really have I had the vision that I had for myself. I always knew I was going to eventually, you know, go to law school. I was going to have a, you know, small practice here in the Morrow, Georgia area. I'm gonna get married as soon as I graduate from high school. So that was my initial thought process. And again, I don't think that I missed out on the one. I think sometimes I may have stayed in relationships too long because I thought that person would become the one. Mm-hmm. And that's something where I had to kind of learn it with myself, because it was like, you know what? I like her a lot. And maybe, you know, if I invested her in this way, or if I communicate like this, or if I speak like this, then it can work. And I'll find myself saying, and then I'm straining myself. In the long run, I'm getting exhausted, and then it starts to turn into turmoil.
Speak.
And almost like a resentment in a sense, where it's just like, dang, like you don't get it. Like I remember having a conversation with one of the young ladies I was with. I was like, listen, I look, we can work this out. I can rock with you. I want to be with you, but I need you to do X, Y, and Z. Because I know myself. See, that's the thing. When you know yourself and you communicate that to the person that you're with, and they still, whether they're nonchalant about it, whether they don't act on it, they're not making those concessions, but you find yourself always compromising. You find yourself, I'll be the bigger person. But you start to realize there's certain things you just got to stand firm on. And so for me, I don't think that I've ever missed out on one. I just think that I've tried to make women the one. And I think that was a misstep on my part, instead of just letting it come.
Okay. That's a fact. I agree 1,000,000% with that process. That was me.
Okay.
Captain Savo. You know me.
Yes, sir.
I'm coming in with the plan for you. I'm going to change your life. I'm going to give you everything. She had to go, bro. And then now, on top of that now, you got a year max. Oh. I'm not even finna waste no more time.
Yo, tell them what happens at the end of the year, Marlo. What happens at the end of the year?
I'm gone. You got a year.
That's it. 365
first
days.
3 months is the evaluation.
Yeah.
Second 3 months is I'm putting my influence on you. Yeah. And you know, it's an equal exchange. But now we're exchanging who we are. Now that we developed the comfortability, you know what I'm saying? Now we're dating. Exclusive. Now we're exchanging ourselves, and now the next 3 months it should be the natural confluence of energies. All right, so this is now we stepping in the I love you, borderline in love with you phase, possibly depending on the chemistry. And then now the last 3 months is where we going?
Right.
All right, so now all this makes sense. All this sounds good. I feel good inside and out. You get what I'm saying? But now it's like, what's the direction? All right? Now I take once I get to the emotional and personal, once I check them, now we business.
Yeah.
Now I get to the business. So now the last 3 months, it's the business. Can we build?
Right. Are we compatible?
That's it, bro.
Yeah.
Build on what sense? On financials? On the sense? Or are we talking all levels?
All levels, bro.
Okay.
Period.
Because I realized over time, it's not necessarily about love than it is in part also about that compatibility, right? Because it's like, man, that woman can love you, and I've had some women love me, and I love them too. But that, all right, and you know, it's just it's like it's something that happened that it just ain't there, and it's like, dang.
And like you said, when you find yourself compromising, and I expressed it over and over,
I'm like, I ain't gonna worry about it. Okay.
And then at this point, I'm expressing over and over, and I'm compromising, and at the same time, I'm leading.
Yep.
And you still ain't following, bro. That shit still ain't clicking. I gotta go, sis. I'm sorry.
And I've been guilty of staying too long.
Okay. I did both.
So you know
what I'm saying? But like that year, I'm already sending I'm sending my red flags to you. I'm throwing in my white towels. I'm letting you know, shout it.
Yeah.
If you don't get right, I'm out. And I'm letting you know.
Right. No, it's real though.
Real. And bro, I'm knocking down the relationship. We ain't exclusive no more. Yeah. What you mean? I've been telling you X, Y, and Z. Like, what's up? I'm moving in this motion, you going in that motion. You know what I'm saying? You,
right?
You ain't getting it. Mm. So at that point, I'm starting to see the negative in you, which is further pushing me away. You know what I'm saying? Because after you want to push the good in them so bad, you finally accepting who they are.
Yeah, you like, you really are like this.
Yeah, now you finally accepting who they are, bro. And then next thing you know, it's just. I can't fuck with you no more.
Yeah.
We can be cool. But yeah, I'm good on you.
All right, Dylan, so you dissecting and listening. What's up, bro?
Yeah. I mean, I agree with my brothers, man. And no, I did not miss out on the potential one because I'm right where I want to be. Thank you, baby.
Jeez.
But
that was good though. I went there, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? I'm
But even, but Marlo can attest to this because he was there, in terms of me informing him about, me and my girl's relationship. It wasn't perfect, but that was when I had to learn from all the things I've learned based on what y'all shared. Mm-hmm. Not doing too much, not always trying to guide and lead and inform, and also not trying to compromise myself and my self-respect and what I want and what I'm trying to pursue. Mm-hmm. It was a time in which in our relationship, I had to take a step back. And all the things that she said she wanted to do, all the goals and desires and wishes and dreams she had for herself, pursue that. All the goals, desires, dreams, and goals I have for myself, I am pursuing, and achieving. I found out once you give each other that space to still operate in their own individual cubicles of growth and evolution, and then you reconvene as a relationship, it's so much better. Right. You can't be in each other's face all the fucking time and expect the other person to improve. You can't expect to be in each other's face all the fucking time and expect that person to evolve and become the person you want. I found out me and my girl made great strides when we gave each other the space to understand that, okay, babe, I'm tired. I'll talk to you. We'll talk about this tomorrow. Or let's just order out. And then maybe we could talk then. Or maybe, we had to find times that was comfortable for both of us to have these hard conversations, the progressive conversations, the real conversations. And then also we was each other's number one support. And we was very patient with one another in each other's progress. Mm-hmm. And it goes back to Elijah's point again about compatibility. Me and her became more and more compatible as we started to make adjustments. A lot of relationships are not adaptable. Mm-hmm. They come in, whatever starry eyes they had in that first date, whatever starry eyes they had during that honeymoon phase, niggas try to maintain that. And it's like, no, you can't. Not if you're a growing, evolving human being. You are a human being in which you are going to eventually expire. Therefore, you're always changing until your expiration date. Mm-hmm. So I never take it for granted who you will be today and who you'll be next year. Mm-hmm. I'm expecting evolution in some form to take root. How do I understand and how can I be there is by me providing a platform and space in which for you to divulge that information and be transparent about me in that process. Mm-hmm. So at that point, I can already meet you at the finish line, babe. So for me, I did not miss my potential one. All the lessons I've learned based on what you have shared, both of you guys have shared, I've now been able to instill, and I feel like I'm reaping the benefits of that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, you found your one.
I found my one. Ain't really nothing for me to say. I ain't miss out on shit.
Yeah.
All right. All the women that didn't want to fuck with me,
You missed out.
You lost. You lost. It's all good though. All love though. All love. You know, it's all lessons. You know, it's all teachable lessons, and I try to carry the lessons that I learned into current situations that I'm in. But yeah, don't miss it. Not even a little bit.
All right, brother. I'm good to hear, brother.
So, how do y'all feel about that? Like, would you? Well, I got a real quick question. I need a yes or no question. All right, yes or no, real quick. Would you ever try to restore a relationship with somebody that you were in love with that ended on bad terms? And the relationship established, the reestablished, doesn't necessarily have to be platonic. It can just be like a friendship, or even like a business relationship. But I'm talking about like somebody that really hurt you. Like, but have you grown and like learned? Like, you know what? We were just young then. You know what I'm saying? Or because you ever been with somebody, it didn't work out. Maybe it ended bad, but it just didn't work out. But the connection or the vibe was really good. We was like, yo, like I fuck with you as a person. You're a cool person, but like being with you is just a no. Could you rekindle that?
I don't burn bridges. I don't hold grudges. Right. But again, to the point I said about evolution and being different and and having different responsibilities, places, and mindset and viewpoints, that has changed. So I'm not a huge fan of folks trying to rekindle something with an old relationship and trying to dial it back to where it was then. You'll never be there.
All right, let me rebut that.
And to answer that question about like exes and shit like that, like we cool, but I'm not looking for a friendship. I'm not looking to try to create any of that, because whatever opportunity we had at that was then.
Right.
That was it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, I still have love for them. I still respect them. I wish them the best. I will be one of their top 20 biggest supporters. Top 10 is getting too close. So, you know what I'm saying? Like that. I wish them the best.
So, quick question. So, you said something earlier. You were like, okay, sometimes within our relationship, like me and my girl, we kind of need to take a step back to where we can think about something, grow. You were saying something on the lines of that, right? So you don't believe that, let's just say y'all didn't work out when you were in high school, right? And then 10 years later, you're totally different. You've grown as a man, she's grown as a woman. You guys link up again. You don't think it can rekindle and it can be something stronger than what it was?
I mean, it's possible. It's possible, but I pretty much leave that shit to the movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Everybody can't go.
I get that. I get that. I wouldn't be here today if that wasn't the case. My dad and my mom, they got, they were together. They were messing with each other for a while. My dad was just doing some crazy things that my mom wasn't fucking with at the time. She left, got remarried. Got married, had 2 kids. That ended, and then my dad saw it again and said, "Bro, I'm not letting her out of my sight. That's it." And then here I am.
So it can happen.
So it can happen. Just want to put that out there for the people. It can happen. To stay strong, have faith.
Yeah.
All right.
Always believe in love.
But at the same time, FDB.
But don't be a fool.
Don't be a fool.
Always believe in love, but always believe in love, but exercise love first of self. You know what I'm saying? Exercise self-love first.
I agree, man. Well, brothers, good to see y'all again this week, man.
We can table.
Yeah, another week at the table.
We can table.
That's it.
All right, man. That's what you say, man.